Here we go. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me here at the First Alert Desk. My name's Karli Barnett. We want to give you a look at some of the stories that we are following for your Saturday. We hope you had a happy and enjoyable and safe 4th of July. We know that many of you may be out and about traveling still for what you may still consider your holiday weekend. And if you are on the go, that's why we want to give you your updates right where you are. Maybe you're joining us from the app, maybe you're joining us on your streaming device, or maybe you're joining us from AtlantaNewsFirst.com. Some quick programming notes for this evening. We have a newscast tonight at 6. You can join us on WANF, as well as 10 o'clock on Peachtree TV and 11 on WANF again. And you can join us back here tonight at 8 at the First Alert Desk. That's when First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin is going to give you a more in-depth look at your forecast. Because we are experiencing a First Alert weather day for the early portion of our day, he is going to join us in just a second just to keep us posted on that rainy weather that you may have experienced earlier if you are in the metro Atlanta area. So without further ado, we do have some serious stories to get to for your afternoon. This is a sad story to have to report, but an Atlanta area teenager has died after drowning at Tybee Island beach. We are still gathering more information on this, but of course, many of you probably travel to Tybee. This is a really high tourist destination from people in the metro Atlanta area. This happening over the course of the holiday, and we are getting now more information, but we've learned a 16-year-old from Atlanta died yesterday after drowning in the water off of Tybee Island beach. That's according to the Georgia Department of Natural Resources. It was around 11:45 a.m. that game wardens were called to Black River Beach, where 3 people had been swept under the waves. 2 were pulled to safety, but the third, who has since been identified as LaQuavis McCray, could not be found. Game wardens and Marine Patrol searched for McCray, locating his body around 3:30 in the afternoon. Tybee Island Mayor Brian West had said the incident happened very quickly. That is according to our sister station in Savannah, WTOC. He goes on to say it drops pretty quickly right there, and they lost their footing, and the current started to take them away. Tragic for all of us here at Tybee. We post signs and we try to warn people to do what we can in this very dangerous area. There were lots of prayers going out to these families this morning, so feeling just very badly for them. So certainly just not the news that we ever like to report, knowing that this was a child, knowing that this was over the course of them just trying to enjoy a holiday. In an online fundraiser, McCray's grandmother said he was at the beach with his friends. She's asking for $10,000 to transport his body back to Atlanta and to help cover those funeral costs. LaQuavis was a fun-loving teenager who kept us laughing with his jokes and liked to impress people with his dance moves, she wrote. We want to give LaQuavis the memorial he deserves to honor his memory. So we have more on this on AtlantaNewsFirst.com right now. Just sad information to have to report, particularly coming off of what should be a happy time and a happy holiday. Taking you back out here live. This is a story that happened here in Atlanta on the Beltline. This is another area that probably people are frequenting for their weekend in general, but a man has died after being stabbed on the Atlanta Beltline in the Piedmont Heights neighborhood. This happened late last night. Police say that they responded to 243 Montgomery Ferry Road Northeast and found a man with an apparent stab wound. Our reporter Asia Wilson explains more on that.
There's people jogging and people walking all around in the area now.
Gary Cannon has lived in Atlanta's Piedmont Heights neighborhood since 1983, a place heavily populated with homes and people, including small children, out and about along the Beltline.
This place is pretty crowded during the day, and we see a lot of families walking their dogs and their children and all that. So far, I've always felt very safe running here.
But on Friday night, their community became a massive crime scene after Atlanta police found a man stabbed on the Montgomery Ferry Drive. He died there.
Sometimes you think that it never happened in your area, but you never know.
Officials with Atlanta Beltline Incorporated say the incident involved 2 people who were homeless.
That's really scary, especially inside this area. It's not like we're not really used to it, especially when we run really in the morning time. So that's definitely a scary thought that happened and someone lost their life.
These 3 women have been coming to the Beltline for years. They were here this morning training for a marathon.
we feel safe as we're running with a group, but I don't know if I'd want to run it by myself. It would be dangerous.
Atlanta Beltline Incorporated released a statement which says in part, the safety and well-being of our community are of utmost importance to the Beltline, and our thoughts are with those affected by this event. Some who frequent the area still want to see some changes.
Definitely more security. Definitely more security. Mostly when we're on the Beltline, there's no security at all. There's no policeman on a bicycle or anything checking. So it would be good to have security.
In Atlanta, Asia Wilson, Atlanta News First.
So obviously very scary situation happening on the Atlanta Beltline. That was our reporter, Asia Wilson. And now we have what may be sounding a bit like a broken record at this point. Yet another water main break happening in the metro Atlanta area, this time happening downtown near Mary Mac's Tea Room. Now, you remember, Mary Mac's Tea Room has had quite a time after dealing with their roof caving in with flooding recently. Crews have finished repairs on the valve of a 6-inch water main break this afternoon. So the good news is the repairs have since taken place. That's according to the Watershed Management Department. The damage was at 216 Ponce de Leon, which is listed as Poppy's Cuban and Caribbean Grill. It is also close to Mary Mac's Tea Room. 7 homes, 2 apartment complexes, and 2 fire hydrants were impacted, according to the department. Water department officials first described the incident as a water main break, but then later specified that a valve had been broken. So we want to take you to some video from actually what happened earlier this week. This was on 4th of July. So this comes off of just a few days ago experiencing a major water main break in Buckhead. We were out there on 4th of July. From Buckhead to Peachtree City, several of these water main breaks have hit the city. And it was a little over a month ago, you'll remember, that 2 large water main breaks shut down a large portion of the city, impacting office and government buildings, public attractions, businesses, and homes for several days. We also say all of this ahead of what's going to be a meeting on Tuesday. This was already scheduled before this took place, but Atlanta City Council was planning to have a meeting to discuss water main breaks and preventing them in the future. So water main breaks, water main valves, various water issues that we have experienced across the city, in particular in these last 4+ weeks. A few happening just this week, of course, again, as people are trying to enjoy their holiday. And we were out there as people who had to put their holiday plans on hold in Buckhead because they just couldn't leave their apartment complex as those repairs were being made. So again, this one has since been taken care of, but this was on Ponce de Leon near that Poppy's Cuban and Caribbean Grill, and also Mary Mac's Tea Room. So the good news is the work in that area should be complete by now. So let's see. I did see that Susie Q has been joining us, saying so horrible, so sorry for this family. You know, definitely appreciate your heart going out to them, Susie. Thank you for watching. And did they capture whoever stabbed the man who died? They have identified who they believe is the person who did this. He had escaped from essentially a halfway house where he was going for rehabilitation. And we're going to have continued updates on this throughout the evening. In the meantime, I do want to go ahead and take you outside where it's looking a bit cloudy out there today. We're looking over Atlanta and we see some clouds out there, and I'm looking out the window now. It's looking a bit dark out there. We have First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin joining us now with more on what the rest of our day and the rest of our weekend has in store, Cutter.
Yeah, unfortunately, First Alert weather day today and tomorrow. Depending on where you are, it's either been pouring at your place for 2 hours now, or maybe you've just been getting the cooling effect from the rain, kind of missing the downpours. That's the negative part of the weather pattern, and getting the positive. That's the fact that these showers and thunderstorms that are developing are really putting a lot of cloud cover up in the sky, and we're able to cool temperatures. It was still hot today, certainly still muggy, but a little bit cooler than it has been this afternoon versus the past couple of afternoons. So again, we still have a lot of weather to talk about. I'm going to open up radar here, take you live outside. We'll look at the cameras again, and then head back over as well to radar, and we can actually pop that up now, kind of give you a tour, track some of these showers and thunderstorms moving through Metro Atlanta right now. So again, thank you for tuning in and for watching. If you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, a reminder that we are streaming live right now on AtlantaNewsFirst.com and the First Alert Weather weather app as well, and in the Atlanta News First app. I am First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin. Thank you for watching and for tuning in. We're just going to spend a few moments talking, chatting, and to chat or get clarification on the forecast, YouTube is the place to be. I know that Karli was talking with Susie Q on YouTube just a few moments ago. So Susie or anyone else watching, if you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, again, just give me a holler. Outside right now, tracking where it is pouring, and it is absolutely pouring in some of these spots. Rain is heavy enough to cause perhaps some street flooding, so just keep that in mind. Street flooding is a possibility this evening, really for the next couple of hours. Then we're going to dry it on down, pare that rain chance down just a little bit as we get just a little bit deeper into the evening, maybe 10, 11, midnight. We're really going to start to dry it on out. But for now, First Alert Weather Day, rain likely to impact some of those plans already. I think that that's the case. Zooming back in closer to the city of Atlanta, it was pouring on the southwest side earlier. Now back to more of a steady rain where it was pouring earlier. Carroll County, Carrollton, up to Bremen, Douglasville, heavy rain, lots of lightning and thunder earlier. Still a steady rain, but a little quieter. Rain not quite as heavy as it was just earlier this afternoon. Getting to the south side, though, Clayton County, Forest Park, northern Henry County into South DeKalb, we have some downpours moving through. And rain is heavy with this particular downpour. Showers and thunderstorms producing heavy rain and some gustier winds at times as well, kind of like this downpour right over Rockdale County, Conyers. Unfortunately, keeps redeveloping, and you can see this here as I kind of draw this out, radar in motion. Notice how it just keeps kind of building back to the south and west, back towards the Henry County line. That's what we call training. Showers and thunderstorms developing and then moving over the same areas over and over again. And the fact that rain is heavy and it's persistent with that redevelopment process, it is possible we could see some street flooding out there in addition to maybe some of the gustier winds here across Metro Atlanta and North Georgia. But in general, it's not a severe weather day, just an active weather day and a First Alert weather day because rain is having an impact on plans out there. I've gotten some texts from friends here around town asking what the weather was going to be because they're hearing the thunder, seeing the dark clouds, and of course some impacted by heavy rain. Mountains the driest. You guys have seen some drier air actually filter in from the north and west. And that is kind of capping the rain chances, drier air, less humid conditions move in. In fact, we have a little bit of a front kind of stalled here across I-20, Metro Atlanta. That's why rain is so focused and persistent in this area. We have the moisture available. That front acts to kind of lift the atmosphere, get clouds to grow taller, and showers and thunderstorms to start popping up across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. And I think that process, I should say, is going to continue for quite a while longer. So just keep that in mind. Today, a First Alert Weather Day. Here is a check of the hour-by-hour forecast. Rain chance remaining pretty likely through 6 p.m. Back to a more isolated rain chance 9 p.m. in the city, though. If you're watching from Eatonton, maybe spending the holiday weekend on Lakes St. Clair or Coney, rain could linger there a little bit later in the evening. But from the immediate metro, especially inside I-285, that rain chance back to kind of an isolated level as we get into the after sunset period. So stormy now. Give it a little bit of patience, and we'll kind of pare back that rain chance. I want to remind you that we are live at 6 p.m. Atlanta News First at 6. Karli Barnett will have the latest news. I'm going to be walking you through the forecast, latest update on Hurricane Beryl, should say, now tropical storm, but forecast to become a hurricane once again. And more on tomorrow's First Alert Weather Day, kind of a repeat of today for some, and then Monday, another repeat of showers and thunderstorms in the First Alert forecast. I'll leave you with the live look outside, looking back to that storm that we were just tracking in South DeKalb and Rockdale County. Rain and storms widespread could impact your plans. Full forecast is always in the First Alert Weather app, but we'll chat with you on TV. Atlanta News First at 6 p.m. here in about an hour.